Hey guys, so I've been thinking about why semen retention feels so powerful. And it makes sense. When I practice retention, I feel like a completely different person. Socially, I am confident. Now, I can look anybody dead in the eye and I feel absolutely no fear. Whether this is a man, a woman, a woman that I find attractive, it does not matter. Whether it's a person of authority, doesn't matter. When I practice retention, anybody can stop me in my tracks. It doesn't matter. I'm going to, stare into your soul. Another thing that happens is I have so much more energy physically. Well, my workouts last longer if I want them to. They're more intense. I'm so much more grounded on my path. It's like every time I'm walking somewhere, I'm just walking with purpose. I'm walking to my destination. I'm not thinking about things in my head. I'm just going there. When I'm at the gym, I'm going from machine to machine. I'm not looking around wondering what I'm going to do next. I'm not wondering who's looking at me. I'm not looking at anybody else. I'm just walking with purpose. I find people start to notice me more. I'm at the gym and I'm just, working out and feeling myself, and I try not to look at people because, and this is another video I want to make, but looking at people, you're just losing energy. You're just draining yourself, even by looking at somebody else. But, when I'm working out and I'm into it and I'm retaining, if I so much as even look up at somebody, they're always staring at me. They're looking at me. They're just waiting for me to notice them. And this happens every day, all day. I could be anywhere. I could be in the grocery store. I could be at the gym. I could be in the break room at work. It doesn't matter. People are noticing you more when you are retaining. And this is both men and women. If I'm in a public setting, women will stare. They will stare at you. Men will stare at you from a place of jealousy, usually, unless they themselves are also retaining. Okay, so yes, this is what happens, but this is just my perspective on it, and I can't prove any of this scientifically. This stuff can't be really proved, and everybody has different experiences with this. But what I think is happening is when you are retaining, you are building this confidence in yourself. You are building up your power. Okay, and maybe retention, maybe semen itself is not giving you energy, power, but perhaps this form of retaining is you are putting up this shield of all of the shit in the world that drains your power. And again, this is just my theory on it. I can't prove anything, right? And nobody will ever be able to prove whether retention actually gives you superpowers or not, as some people say. But what I'm saying is true for me, and this is what's important, is if you find something truthful for you, something that gives you power, something that gives you confidence, something that works for you, nobody can stop you. You become unstoppable. You become this power horse of a person who strives to do things with purpose, who moves from point A to point B and doesn't let anybody come in between them and their goals. And for me, retention is this practice. You know, we have such fucked up dopamine centers in our brain, and so many of you guys out there are on dating apps and watching, you know, dirty videos and all of these things, watching anything, watching YouTube, watching me. You're lifting up your dopamine only for it to shoot back down later. You know, indulging in foods that are not healthy. It's all just fucking up our dopamine centers. And when you practice retention, when you know, have the discipline to say, you know what, I have sexual urges, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to control myself. When you genuinely can do that, when you genuinely can set a goal, and one of the hardest things to do in this world is to control your sexual energy. When you can do that, of course you get this energy. Of course you get this confidence. You know, I can feel it surging through my freaking veins every day. And some of my friends who grew up with me for years and knew me all my life, you know, I've always been the guy who maybe couldn't get the girl, or, you know, I always saw myself as kind of a loser, kind of a background character. And these same people are asking me now, you know, how do I talk to this girl? You know, how do you get on so many dates? Or how do you do this? How do you do that? How is your strength going up so much in the gym? You know, what are you doing differently? Well, this is it. And retention, maybe it's not the answer. Maybe it's not, you know, a superpower. But what I know for sure is when you are on your purpose and you are controlling your energy, holy shit, man. Like, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. Not some fucking girl that you think is really cute, you know, not some dude trying to challenge you or trying to intimidate you. Not your friends, you know, trying to get you to, you know, indulge in behaviors that are beneath you. Nothing stops you, man, when you're on your purpose. And if you want a way to really build confidence and character and discipline, try going a week without having sex or masturbating. Try going a month. Because it's hard. It's really hard, man. This is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I say had to do because this is something that I have to do. And you might say, oh man, like, of course you don't have to do that. You know, everybody has free will. Everybody can do whatever they want. But when I was looking at my life, something needed to change. You know, I was not happy with where I was. I was not happy with the money I had in my bank account. I was not happy with the way I looked. And I know that 99% of you guys out there are not happy with how you look. You're not happy with your relationship status. You're not happy with the amount of money you have. And so why don't, instead of we thinking about this and wondering how some people have it and how you don't have it, why don't you just do it, man? Why don't you just give it a try? Stop making excuses. Just give it a try. And I promise you, you will gain something from this experience. Anyway, guys, that's all for today. Peace out.